Welcome to the fifth dimension. My name is Mr. O'Connell, and the world around me will be destroyed by this star one day. What is energy? Energy is any source of usable power, as fossil fuel, electricity, or solar radiation. The Earth is cascaded in solar radiation. In fact, we get blasted with so much energy from the sun that the amount of radiation we get will increase by roughly 10% in the next billion years. What does this mean for our little blue marble? This means our planet will be destroyed by the excess heat given off by our sun. Earth can be affected by a plethora of different types of energy, in addition to these cosmic rays of light. It's common knowledge that exposure to ultraviolet light can cause skin cancer. This type of invisible light is responsible for more than 95% of skin cancers in humans. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, our federal weather agency, an average of 48 people die from being struck by lightning annually. Lightning releases extreme amounts of electricity that can result in cardiac arrest or even permanent brain damage. Let's talk about radioactivity. It's the process of atoms shedding ionic particles which can destroy cells and change the chemical makeup of an animal's DNA. These mutations can cause fatal illnesses like cancer, Huntington's disease, or they can be as harmless as changing your eye color. That's right. If you have blue eyes, you are a genetic monster. Albert Stevens was an American house painter who was born in the late 19th century. After the discovery of radiation in atoms, the U.S. government agencies conducted unethical experiments on people around the country to study its effects on humans. Stevens is known for surviving the highest recorded dose of radiation, 131 BQs of plutonium. He died at the age of 79 due to heart failure caused by the chemicals injected into him without his consent. Over the rest of his life, Stevens' body contained more than 1,200 times the annual permitted amount of radiation for workers in the United States. The Chernobyl accident is an infamous nuclear disaster that occurred a little more than 30 years ago. For whatever reason, operators of a nuclear power plant in Chernobyl, Ukraine, disabled systems from automatically shutting down before initiating a test to see how long turbines powering the plant would run in the event of an electrical shortage. More than 24 workers died shortly after the 1986 disaster from radiation poisoning and severe burns, and 7,000 civilians developed thyroid cancer following the events. Huge portions of Upper Ukraine are still unfit to visit to this day, and the toxins could remain there for potentially thousands of years. Despite the hazard to humans, animals like wolves and deer that can withstand the chemicals populate Chernobyl and the surrounding areas. Endangered animals like lynxes, cat-like subspecies, can live in the toxic wasteland without being hunted by humans and becoming extinct. Another infamous nuclear catastrophe was the bombing of Hiroshima in Japan during World War II. On August 6, 1945, the U.S. dropped an atomic bomb on the city of Hiroshima and followed it up with a similar attack on Nagasaki 3 days later. These bombings killed more than 100,000 people.
Side note: Albert Einstein had no involvement in the Manhattan Project, aside from writing a letter to President Franklin Delano Roosevelt admitting that the Germans were developing an atomic bomb.
So let's take a look at one more form of energy. Rather, let's take a listen. Sound happens when atoms or molecules vibrate. It's a compression of air waves that causes your inner eardrums to vibrate, which then sends a signal to your brain. Everything in the universe has a speed limit, and sound is no different. Light, the fastest thing in the universe, travels at 299,792,458 meters per second in a vacuum. Sound moves pitifully slow when compared to light speed, only 340 meters per second in a vacuum. This drastic difference of speed is the reason why you see lightning long before you hear thunder. Have you ever heard a police car or an ambulance pass you and wondered why the pitch of the sirens have changed? This is due to the Doppler effect. This means that if a noisy object moves in one direction, sound reaches the direction it's moving in before reaching the direction it isn't. Once again, the difference of the time sound waves take to reach your ears is what causes the perceived change in pitch. Sound can be dangerous if used in extreme ways. Certain sounds can play at a frequency that vibrates the air so violently they can shatter glass. A device called the Inferno generates a sound so powerful, prolonged exposure to the noise can give a person nausea and chest pain. The most obvious danger of sound is long exposure to loud noise, which can cause hearing loss or tinnitus, a condition in which a person hears a constant ringing sound.
Scenarios that can lead to hearing loss may include occupations that deal with noisy tools, like jackhammers and chainsaws, such as construction, or attending a Rise Against concert without wearing earplugs. Our producers have arranged an interview with an actual Rise Against fan who really developed tinnitus following their performance at the PlayStation Theater in Brooklyn.
I just wanted to see my favorite band. I wanted to see my favorite band, but it didn't use protection and now I have to pay for it.
You didn't think to wear earplugs?
Earplugs? Earplugs? Earplugs?
Earplugs?
When Jeremy Bowen said he would be the ring in my ears, he meant it.
Who's Jeremy Bowen?
You don't get it, okay? My ears will be ringing for years. My ears will be ringing for the rest of my life. Get that camera out of my face!
To recap, energy comes in many forms, from my voice vibrating in your ears to the lights from your screen hitting your eyes. The universe and everything in it runs on some type of energy. Until next time, my name is Mr. O'Connell, and this has been The Fifth Dimension.
Who's Jeremy Bowen? Jeremy Bowen. Jeremy Bowen. Jeremy Bowen.
Jeremy Bowen.
Bowen. It's such a weird name. Jeremy Bowen.